Today we have a very, very special guest. It's someone that I actually thought I wouldn't be able to have on this podcast till it reaches like we playing in these thousand streams kind of thing. But I managed to do it. And this person, without any further introduction, is Amina Taha. If you don't know her, she's a yoga instructor. She's gonna tell us everything about her, her journey with yoga, everything. You guys could probably like have a question in about. And yeah, let's start. Let's go ahead. So, Amina, please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for thank you so much, Ahmad. My name is Amina. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm originally Egyptian, and I'm based in New York. And yeah, I practice and teach yoga, and I'm also a mother and a fashion designer.
Okay, that's great. So I think the most interesting question that's gonna come, and it was the first one that came to my mind when I came across your page, I think like a year ago, was uh, how did yoga became a part of your life, let alone being a teacher, yoga teacher?
It kind of happened very by accident. There was no plan at all. I had just moved to a new city and I was about to start my first fashion job ever. So I had graduated fashion school and was really excited to be a designer. And I interviewed for my first job, and then they told me that I had to wait a month before I could start working. So I had a month to kill, basically. And I was like, oh, I have a month to do anything I want. So I was curious about yoga. So I looked up, literally just Googled yoga studios near me, and I was living in Abu Dhabi at the time with my sister Hannah, and so we both were like, yeah, let's check it out. Sounds interesting. So I went to my first class. It was an intermediate class, and obviously I was a complete beginner. I had never done any sports, any gymnastics, any ballet, like nothing, no
So you have
background.
no gymnastics background, nothing. So you
No, nothing at all. I
when
couldn't
you were
touch my
old.
toes, and I was completely
Oh,
like
okay.
not fit, not like not nothing that was kind of encouraging me to start, except just pure curiosity. So we went to the
Mm.
class, and then and I was just mesmerized by it. Like I couldn't keep up, but for some reason, the challenges that I felt in that class only sparked more interest. Like I think had it been too easy, had it been too slow, it was just like everything there that I experienced was kind of like, wow, I want to keep doing this. I want to learn more about this fascinating practice. And I think also it wasn't even just the cool poses, but at the end of the class, in shavasana, when you lie down at the
Yeah,
end of a yoga class, I felt
yeah.
like I was so relaxed, and I've never been this relaxed in my life, that I felt like I want to dig deeper into this.
Yeah, okay. So curiosity is basically what towards your journey with yoga.
Yes, 100%. It was basically curiosity. Yeah, it was an
Okay,
interest.
great. So when you were saying the story, I had really like an important question. So I've been doing yoga for when the moment quarantine started, I was like, oh my god, I have nothing to do, so I'm just doing yoga. Uh,
Yes.
so I
Yeah.
started exactly Saturday 15th of March, right?
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
I basically just Googled on Udemy like
Yeah.
yoga classes because I didn't feel like I was gonna stick into it because I think it also feels like I didn't feel it would suit me because I've been doing I did boxing and I did heavy weights and I was like yoga was like not my thing.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so and then I googled it and I was like, okay, that's actually hard. Like how do people go this deep when touching their toes? I mean, that's not possible, right?
Yeah.
And so I think curiosity is a really important theme when it comes to beginning journey, right?
It really is, and I
And,
think not having any attachments is also great, because you're starting out something without any expectations of yourself. Like, like you said, like you're kind of just approaching it with an open mind, and then you let it surprise you. Like, wow, oh, this is difficult, more difficult than I thought, or oh, this is actually I'm learning this easy, like easier than I thought. Like you're basically just allowing the
yeah,
experience to teach you, rather than having your own like preconceived ideas of what it's going to be. And I remember one time I was in the park, and I could see someone doing some like really cool things. That was like maybe 2 years, maybe a year and a half before I actually started practicing. And I could see someone doing super cool things, and I was like, "Wow, that's amazing! What is this person doing?" And I remember my friend being like, "She's doing yoga." And I was like, wow. And I felt this kind of hint of sadness that it was too late for me to do this. It was like, oh, too late for me to do these cool things. Like I'm already 27 at the time, or 26.
Yeah.
And then when I started doing yoga, I realized there's no such thing as too late. Like there's infinite potential, infinite possibility if you believe in what you're doing, and if you commit the discipline and the hours and the practice and the process without being frustrated, or even just, allowing the frustrations to come and go, then you will do what you want to do in the end, and there's no limit.
See, when you were talking, I related with this so much because when I first started,
Yeah.
was like I'm 17, alright. Like so I'm about to be 17, right? And
Yeah.
I was like I'm on my way to be 17 and I have no like all I did, I was a swimmer, I played tennis for a little bit, like nothing that gets like gymnastics in it, right? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't flexible.
Yeah. Like
So
you
I
can't
was
imagine doing like handstands and like splits and
yep,
these
no,
things.
that's
Yeah.
a whole other topic. That
Yeah.
like just I thought my idea of yoga was just people sitting down, closing their eyes and cross-legged. I was like, I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Like nothing special. I was like,
And
what's
that's
special
harder than
about it?
we think, by the way. That's one of the most difficult parts of yoga. It's also just sitting in stillness with your thoughts like that.
Exactly.
That's super
Ex-
difficult. It looks easy, right? He's doing nothing, but actually that's like we are so inclined to fidget and we're always, our minds are racing, and every single little movement that you're doing when you're sitting down trying to be still is a thought, and sitting with your thoughts really allows you to just notice, instead of react. You're there, you're watching. I think that to me is way harder than anything else right now.
exactly. See, like I'm gonna be sorry if I interrupt you because you just this sentence fired me up because I really
No,
thought
don't worry.
I really thought this was like easy, and then I started meditating before I got into yoga, and then
Wow.
I started meditating say like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and then it wasn't really a meditating as much. It was like napping, but I don't want to say I'm napping. So I just like put like a guide and just like lie
Yeah,
down.
some people fall
So,
asleep, which
but
I
then
think
I
is also
thought to me
so
when I
relaxing.
took it seriously,
Yeah.
yep, exactly. What I thought was like how like I always like read about monk. See, oh my, the books is right here. So
Yeah.
this book is the monk who is Ferrari. I always like did not understand why are monks this calm. I mean, are you
Yeah.
just like this or like what
Are
happened
you
to you? Like,
supernatural? Like, how do you get this? It's from sitting for
yep,
all these
exactly,
hours.
and exactly, and I was like, and then when I started meditating, and I took it seriously, and I was like, no, I wouldn't just like lie down and have someone say peace and all that stuff. No, I would actually start and put all my strength into focusing on your breath, for example, anything like this.
Yeah.
It was not that easy. It was hard at
No.
start because always thinking, oh, so I need to go to the gym. Oh, then I'm gonna do this reps, and I was like,
So many thoughts. Yeah, and we
you're
don't
in a whole
realize
different universe. Yep.
how often we're like we are like basically one of my favorite definitions to yoga. Obviously, you can define yoga in many different ways, but the definition I think in the Yoga Sutras is yoga is the calming of the chatter of the no yoga is the quieting of the chatter of the mind. And I love that definition so much because it just makes it very simple. Like yoga, whether it's yoga asana, posture practice, whether it's yoga meditation, whatever, there's any of the eight limbs of yoga, they're all meant to quiet the chatter of the mind.
Wait, can
And
you
I
dig
just,
deeper on this one? I think this one is really interesting. I would like to know.
yeah, it's basically just like human brain is that we're always, our thoughts are branching into other thoughts. We're always telling a story with our brains, right? We're seeing something, we're seeing it how it relates to us. We're trying to protect ourselves from situations. One of my favorite books that touches on this is called The Untethered Soul by Michael
The
Singer.
untethered soul,
Untethered
right?
Soul, you would love it. Yeah, I highly recommend it. And it basically just shows you how, for example, you're driving down the highway. It's just a highway, right? But you're
Hmm.
seeing a blue
Yeah.
car in front of you. In this blue car, you see a girl, and this girl reminds you of your ex-girlfriend. And then suddenly, all of these, like, you're seeing, it's not objective, right? You're on a highway, you're seeing a car, you're seeing a girl. It's not like that. It's all about our relationship to these things around us and how our mind narrates these events for us, right? And sometimes we can be so lost in our own heads that we think that someone doesn't like us, for example, when they're just shy, or like we're always, everything is about how we are perceiving the world. I'm dealing with you with how I'm perceiving my world, and you're dealing with me how you're perceiving your world. So it's, you know, it's crazy to think like that, that then you don't take anything personally, because that's just how the person is seeing their own world. And so that book touches upon that a little bit better than I can. But it's
I'm
basically
definitely
this
gonna read it
idea that, you know,
because
yeah.
like I'm listening to you and I'm like, okay, so from the minute 8 to 10, I need to watch this again, like for real, because like I'm it's really important because I'm like
Yeah,
I'm about it now. I was like, I never like I'm passing on the highway and I never look at this guy and I just see him as just
as who he
objective.
is. No,
Yes,
exactly.
I
You're,
always
yeah,
relate. I always
you
put
always
myself
relate.
in these situations.
And that's
Yeah,
what you're,
never
what,
thought
that's
about
what
it.
our minds are constantly doing with every situation. And I think the beauty of the practice is not, you know, doing crazy things on your hands or doing a crazy backbend touching your feet to your head. It's about that you're able to actually see and have a separation of you from your thoughts. Like, you are not your thoughts, you are not what you are seeing, what
You
you're not the
are
stories.
observing you.
Yeah, you are the person who's observing, and the person within you, that observer, is unlimited, is infinite, is, you know. And so basically that separation, I think, is what yoga has taught me, is that I can, you know, maybe 1% of my day try to realize that I'm not my thoughts, that I'm not my emotions, I'm the observer. So just even taking a few seconds of conscious breath, you know, just noticing the breath going in and out, there's no thought. You're either thinking or you're focusing on a breath. So that just that separation is where so much clarity and so much space and so much, you know, many wonderful things that we want to achieve can happen in that space when we're not thinking so much. And yeah.
Yeah, I totally. So, like, I'm gonna tell you something that I think, and I want to know your thoughts on this. I
Yeah.
believe that yoga, specifically like the section, like this is something that I want you and to educate me on and the audience as well. That what is because like what is yoga in itself? Because sometimes I stumble upon yoga videos that they are always about meditation and relaxation, and then stumbled upon you did some lives like teaching on Instagram and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then, like, I feel like your kind of method of teaching is separated. Some of them, I feel I sweat when I'm doing it. Like
Yeah.
some,
Yeah.
like the
That's
other
a good
day, I
point.
was like, oh my god, it's been 45 minutes. How is she still doing this?
Yeah,
And I'm
that's
lying
a
on
good
the
point.
floor, and like you're
so
doing
so
it
it's basically like you're saying,
calmly.
some
Yeah,
people see yoga, and to them the idea of yoga is putting your leg behind your head and twisting into a pretzel and doing really crazy things. And other people associate yoga with, I'm sitting down for hours in a cross-legged position and not moving, and, you know, this is yoga. And both of them are yoga, right? Even walking down the street can be yoga. It's all about your intention. If basically yoga has 8 limbs to yoga, right? There's asana. So those two I'm going to speak about. The asana means posture practice, which means the physical practice. So me getting on my mat, moving my body, right? That's one part of yoga. And another part is the meditation. So both of them are equally yoga, but it also depends on your intention of doing it. So I'm very also defensive when it comes to, like,
yeah,
not defensive but protective, when someone says this is not yoga, this is contortion, for example. You know, contortionists, like how they do crazy bendy things. So,
yeah, yeah.
and my sister is very naturally flexible. Like, she went into her first yoga class, she was 14, and she could put she could sit on her head with her butt. Like, she's just very flexible like that. We can't say that she's not doing yoga just because her shapes look different to mine, you know. So I think
Yeah.
that like yoga is whatever, you know, you're doing it with an intention of being mindful, you're doing it with your breath, you're not forcing your body into flexibility using pain, or, you know, like you're finding that ease. That something I love in asana practice and physical practice is that yoga, each pose should be a balance of effort and ease. So it tells you,
Oh, can you
like
touch? Can you go deeper on this part? I think.
yeah, so basically like in the yoga practice, you're encouraged by your teacher not to work too hard to the point that you're
No.
being violent. So there's a concept in yoga called ahimsa, which means non-violence. So that can apply to everything. Obviously, not hitting another person, not, you know, torturing an animal, all these things, but also not torturing yourself, not hurting yourself. So if you are going into your practice and you're feeling pain, and your ego mind is telling you, no, I have to do the split, I have to do the split, and you're pushing past that pain, then you are being, you're not applying a himza to your practice. So each pose has to be a balance of effort and ease. So it's not too easy for you. You're working, you are working hard, but you're not working too hard, that you're not present anymore. And I love that. Like one of my teachers.
I really resonated with this one because this has always been my struggle in everything, yoga, practice, everything in my life generally, is because I always want to push myself because
Yeah,
like
but
I
pushing
don't want
yourself
to
also
be
with
lacking,
your
you know what I'm
body,
saying?
it
Like I
like
don't
it
want to
yeah
feel
it,
like I'm not my
you
all.
you
So
don't
I
want to
always
feel like
push
you're,
myself beyond my
yes,
limit and then I'll be like I
yeah, I mean, also
yeah,
especially
so this exact feelings I was saying is like an obstacle. So how do you propose? Like how do one like overcome this exact that I want to do it so badly that I'm losing this balance of effort and ease?
I think just like for me, it helps for me to set a goal for sure. Like I'm very goal oriented, and
Oh,
I
so
struggle with you as well, the same thing.
the
But
voice
I
the
think,
voice is kind of cutting out a little
oh,
bit.
sorry, can you hear now?
Just don't leave.
Is this
Yeah.
better?
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
it's yeah, now
Okay.
yeah, this is better.
Um, I think for me is, it's like one of my teachers used to say, give your poses 70%, so that you're not giving it like 100%, that you're not here anymore. You're the you're lost. You're lost in the pose. You're no longer.
It kind of cut out again. Could you
Oh,
like
yeah. 1 second. Let me try to go into a different space. Okay. Tell me now if this is
okay.
better. Is
Don't
this okay?
leave. If anyone leaves the
Okay. No,
podcast
no.
right now, I'm
I'm
watching.
here. Okay.
I'm
Is this
watching
good?
the audience. If anyone leaves, it's not gonna be okay.
No, don't leave. Okay. Let me know now. How is this?
Just a few seconds, because like the internet is not really the best thing.
Okay.
Well, like quarantine.
Okay. Now is
Uh,
this good? No.
okay, now it's great. I think now it's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me connect. Are you here?
Oh, so I
Hello.
cut out again.
Yeah. Let me switch to the other internet. Is
I
that
don't
fine
think it's
for a
getting
sec?
on my end, right? No.
Okay. 1 sec.
Okay, take your time. Take your time.
Okay. Um. Okay. I'll go by another window. Okay. Now tell me if is this okay now? Can you hear me?
Okay, so it kind of like goes out and then it goes back to neutral.
Okay. Now better. Yes. Maybe.
So this location is a little bit better, but it kind of like keeps going out a little bit. So I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Let me try something else. Because we just okay. Now, is this better?
Okay, so
Here?
now I can hear perfectly. Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
perfectly right
awesome.
now.
I'll stay here then. Perfect.
Okay, something's off. I don't know.
Bill?
uh,
No. Hello.
okay, hang in there. Just okay.
Okay. Now I'm trying to connect to a different internet right now. Just once. Should be working.
So
Hello.
is it working now or?
Yeah,
Yep, I can hear you.
for me
I
it
think.
feels
I
like I
hope.
have all the bars, but I don't know. Okay. It's
Okay,
gonna be
now I can
perfect.
hear perfectly.
Okay, awesome. Yes.
Okay, great. So I think we were speaking about the obstacle of you going like working so hard to reach that point where you can do the full split, for example.
Yes. So I think always having that, like, if you work too hard, then you're no longer present. You're no longer in the pose. So always finding a bit of a space, right? You want to stay in that like observer space.
Okay, yep.
Can you hear me now?
No, yeah, I can hear perfectly.
Okay, awesome. Yay. Yeah. So that's what I was saying. It's basically just about finding that healthy separation. Like one of my favorite teachers used to say, be at 70%. Give your poses 70% so that you're not at 100% where you're no longer with us. You're fully like somewhere else, just completely
Yeah.
immersed by the pose or the struggle. Then you're working too hard, and don't just like kind of slack off. And I love the idea that I can do a very simple pose but activate certain subtle things within the pose so that I can work harder. And you can always dial up the intensity however much you want, so you find that healthy balance.
Yeah, I think this one is really important. The balance, that last like sentence, the healthy balance. I think it really
It
differs from one person to another, right?
Yes, exactly. It is always different it's always different with also um, where you are on the scale of with your body. Like some people start yoga, they have a lot of strength, right? They used to be bodybuilders or they go to the gym and they're just super strong. And for them, finding ease and relaxing in a pose is what they need to work on, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas other
Okay.
people have
I
so
see.
much
So
flexibility that, yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah. So I
Uh,
was gonna say that there is no, because I always thought this before I started yoga, which is there is a definition for yoga, but this is actually not true, right? So it could it
what?
differ.
Sorry,
It's
I missed that word. What did you say? What is
so
it?
I was saying no, I was saying that I always thought that there was like a standard definition for yoga.
Yes.
But now, like talking to you, I'm getting to the point where it's not really like that. So it's not all physical and postures and all that, and it's not all mental and spiritual. It's kind of a balance between the both, right?
I mean, it's like it's this famous saying of it's not about that you can touch your toes or something like that. It's about what you learn on the way down. So it is like
Mm,
physical practice is about, obviously you're taking care of your body. Your body is your home in this life, right? So you're taking care of your body. You're challenging your body. You're learning interesting things. And one of my friends says something that I really respect and love, and his name is Henry Wins on Instagram. You should check him out. And he's like, also I always refer men to see his page because some people say, oh, men can't be that flexible, and I always say, look at Henry. But
ah,
if touching your feet to your head is going to keep you interested and keep you disciplined and keep you, then aim for that. Like there's no shame in setting goals in your practice and being excited about them. It's just like finding that balance, like you're saying, like not working too hard to the point that you're injuring your body, you're constantly in pain. Also, one of my favorite yoga sutras says, practice with, and I have it in my bio, practice with love, with non-attachment and faith.
practice
Practice
with
daily
love,
with
with
practice
non-attachment and
daily
faith.
Yeah, practice daily with love, with faith and non-attachment. And I think this to me sums up my physical practice, and it's practicing every day, so being consistent in your practice. Okay, that's number one. Number two is to practice with love, so you're not hurting yourself, you're not violent, you're doing it with
Yeah.
passion and love. When you do something with passion and love, you're giving it to your purest part of yourself, right?
Yep. Exactly.
And practicing with faith, meaning I believe, which is the visualization part for me, which is super important, is that I can imagine myself, I can believe and see myself doing these postures. I'm not constantly thinking, oh, I can never do that, because your body listens to what your body listens to your mind. So if your mind is saying, I can't hold my handstand, or I can't do this, then your body will believe it.
Yeah. I got
Sorry,
it.
I got a call and I canceled it. So
No, no
the
worries. No
connection is
worries.
very strong
Yeah, that connection is good.
between mind and body.
Oh, you mean about, okay, I thought you were talking about the internet. Okay, my
Sorry,
bad.
I lost your voice. I can't hear you anymore.
Uh,
Oh, where
I
are
did not
you?
move an inch.
Yeah, for some
Oh, I
reason
can hear you
it
perfectly.
muted you. You're muted on my end.
But can you hear me right now?
Okay. Try to mute and then unmute yourself.
Okay. How good am I? Can you hear?
Still can't hear you.
I'm trying to meet you.
Okay, now you can hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Yes? But I can't hear you.
Okay, that's the problem. Um,
Can we refresh so I can get back and then it's gonna work?
yes,
Or
yes.
wait, maybe um, I can't hear you at all.
Okay, so I'm just we're gonna like split and we'll be back like immediately, right? So I don't. Okay. I'm trying to fix it as much as I can.
Okay, now?
I can hear you perfectly, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I still can't hear you. I don't know why. I can't hear them. Okay, try fixing audio. Oh, apparently it's a bug in Safari. I can't hear them. Try clicking this button to fix it. If it doesn't work, it may just be an issue with their mic.
Okay.
Oh yeah, now it worked. Okay, perfect.
Okay. You can hear me now. Okay. Great. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
there was a bug or something on Safari, it says.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Great. So yeah, we're back, and I really do apologize for everyone who's listening. Like it's not really the best because of quarantine and like internet could be lacking and stuff. But it's really, really an insightful talk. I personally learned a couple of things, and we have not been really
Thank you.
because like yeah, because the point about this balance is really important, and the fact that yoga in itself is not just a subjective like fact, it's more of perspective. If
Yeah.
you yeah, so like at first I always thought I like had I was gonna try like learning gymnastics and I was gonna do yoga. And then I stumbled upon your classes and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do gymnastics after that. Because like that's because like it was already super intense with all the
That,
physical and everything. So it basically
yeah,
covered my entire workout
I'm
of the day.
glad. I'm so glad. And I think I like for me my practice is I'm basically for me personally, I'm not attached to anything. I'm seeing what's possible. And I think that that is so magnificent and so wonderful. Like I before I ever did anything like that, I would put in the work, but I always knew that I can do whatever I commit to. And now you take that off the mat as well, and you realize like we have so many limitations that we put on upon ourselves that aren't actually factual. Like there's nothing that's saying I can't do this. It's our idea that we can't, right? And as long as it's physically possible, I think that yoga teaches you that you can do it all. You can do anything you want as
I
long as you believe it.
strongly and firmly believe with that. Like I totally agree with that. Like yoga wise, life, everything
Everything wise, yeah,
is
exactly.
really
And all these things you can take and apply off your mat, and it just teaches you that you can there's infinite potential within yourself. You can learn anything that it is that sparks your curiosity, and you can do it, and you can do it well.
yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so there is another thing that I really want to touch on, which is I really assume that many people are busy, right? Even though in quarantine many people had to do stuff and things are opening up a little bit, whether it's for the economy, whatever, like that's not really the reason.
Yeah.
That's not the point. But what I wanted to ask you is, how do you manage your time with a daily practice and you're already a mother of a 2-year-old? And how do you propose someone who has, for example, 9 to 9, how can they fit yoga in their schedule? And so, like, what's your touch on time management and putting yoga in your
Discipline.
schedule, even though you're disciplined?
Yeah, I think I used to be a lot more disciplined. I used to wake up every day before work. So I worked a 9 to 7, 9 to 7, pretty much, in my fashion job. And I would wake up in the morning, set an alarm, start my day with my practice, and it would really make such a difference. I would practice at home. So I think setting a space that you like in your like a corner in your house, that is the place for your practice. So you don't have to making it easy for yourself, so that you wake up, you have your mat ready, you just get on the mat. And the hardest thing about anything is starting. Once you're on the mat, that's it. You're going to do it. It's just starting and making a habit of it, because most times, most days, you're not going to wake up super inspired and super motivated and super like, yay, let's do this. Most days you're going to wake up like,
Yeah,
oh, I wish I could sleep in more. Like, I'm so tired. Why am I doing this? But then once you're moving your body, I think I would say 9 out of 10 times you'll be like, I'm really grateful that I started my day like that. And it sets you ready for the day. So setting that, so I would say having a clean, organized, like ready space for your practice from the night before,
exactly. I
so that you
was just
always,
gonna say this. The
yeah,
environment that you
the
put yourself
environment,
in will really
definitely.
affect your discipline. I think I was
Yes,
I was just gonna
it,
touch on this one. Yeah, I think this
it
one
really
really,
does.
really is
And
important.
and like, for example, for me, I had my mat out in my old apartment, and my baby scribbled on my mat, so he kind of like ruined it a little bit, so I put it away. And then I realized, like, when my mat was out, I was always, even if it's not like a full hour, we have to be sometimes like a little bit kind to ourselves. Like, sometimes we can't have a full hour. We have a baby, we have to cook, we have to do so many things, especially as a mom or as a student, you have to study, whatever it is. And I think
Yeah.
making it realistic within your like your lifestyle, so that it's not just like something that you is heavy, like, oh, I have to do this and I can't, like, I'm gonna kill myself in my practice. Like, sometimes you want a light practice, just give yourself what you want, give yourself what you need, but also it's also, again, finding that balance between effort and ease with your daily discipline, like not being too harsh on yourself. If you can't do it today, forgive yourself, do it again, do it, start it over tomorrow. So I think also not being discouraged when you can't. That's another big thing, is like, you have the rest of your life for the practice. If you miss a day, if you miss a week, that's fine. You can, there's nothing like that don't have FOMO, like I'm leaving this behind. you know and
You're exactly talking to me because I'm this kind of person. Anything, if it's a job, if it's
yeah,
like something that I need to study, I'm always like, I need to do it. Like, if I put it on my to-do list, I'm doing it, or I'm gonna die trying to do it, even if it's something as
exactly.
kind of cleaning your shoes. Like,
Yes,
and I
but
think
but
that's a point that really needs to be addressed, right?
yeah, but 100%, like, I feel like I have a bit of that in me as well. And I think being a perfectionist can be so incredible in your practice, because you can apply that level of detail and of being like a perfectionist, like that, in like your body and in the way you approach the poses, and then you learn to take it out of like you learn to use it in a more useful way. Because I used to be like you as well, and I used to think like, oh, I have to do this, and if I don't do it, then and then, for example, I got pregnant, and then I realized within those 9 months, my practice was going to be very different. I can't be, you know fully focusing on the goals, or like, I have to just your practice has to grow with you and fluctuate with you and be a part of your life. And some days you're going
Yeah,
to be sick, and some days you're going to be feeling great, and your practice is a daily part of you. So then, after being a mom, I realized that it's not going to be realistic to practice the way I used to when I was living, having all the time in the world. So now I do it a little bit here and there throughout the day. If you see, if basically, if like you could see like a camera of my apartment, you'll probably see a lot of the times that I'm on my hands, or like, handstanding, or just moving around, or sitting in a straddle split or something. Like, I'm always doing it, but it's no longer this rigid, like it has to be this. And I think, honestly, that you need a bit of both. Like, you do need that time for yourself to do it alone, but you also can incorporate it into your lifestyle.
yeah, I totally agree with this one. I also think when it comes to yoga specifically, I think yoga is not like, for example, when gyms were open,
Yeah,
old days, when the gym was
yeah,
open and I used to go there. It's like, I don't want to say like rough, but it's more of like no pain, no gain, right? But in
yeah.
yoga, it's not always, it does not really always follow that rule. Like,
No, because
sometimes I
no pain,
think,
no gain would be literally like, almost like you're not applying that. It's not the no non-violence that hymns a part of yoga, right? And that's
yep,
why,
exactly.
even
Yep,
like, sometimes I have yoga students that used to be ballerinas or used to be gymnasts, and they're approaching flexibility with a bit of fear, because their teachers used to tell them, like, even, yeah, like, even martial arts, you have to sit in your split. If your body is not going into that position, force it. Like, it's that kind of way of approaching flexibility.
yep,
And I think
that's what
that,
I do. I can do splits. I've been trying to do splits for 3 months now, and I can't do it. And I'm
oh,
like
3 months is nothing.
daily.
3 months is so little.
And because it's not usual, it doesn't usually take that long for me to create
but
something. Like, if I want
but
abs,
the,
I
but
work
the
20
you know
weeks
the thing
consistently, and I have abs. So like when it
yeah,
happened,
but that's different. You
like
see, like,
splits, I was
the the
like,
thing the
you
thing
know,
with gym and with things like that is like that oh, I can lift heavier, like, just power through it. But with yoga, it's about working with your nervous system. Okay, so if you think about your body, like, I'm gonna get a little anatomical for a second. So if you think about your muscles and your body, and approaching a flexibility practice in general, it's all about your nervous system. And that's why the breath is also so powerful. Because if let's say right now, I'm going to go into a split, right? And my body, I've never done a split before in my life. your body naturally just wants to protect you from any danger all the time, right? Your body just, that's,
Yeah.
your body's wired to do that. So if I put my body in this new position that my body has never been in before, what is it going to do? It's going to tense up, and my heart rate will be faster, and my breath will be shallow, because my body goes into something called fight or flight, which means it thinks that it's in danger. So if I ignore that fight or flight response in my body and still continue to push into forcing myself into a split, that's where injury happens, because your body thinks, no, you can't do that, you're not ready for that, you're not strong enough, you're not, you're not
Mm.
even relaxed enough for that to happen, you're not in a safe environment, so your body tenses up, and that's how injuries happen. So the wonderful thing about the yoga, approaching flexibility from a yoga perspective or from a yoga gateway, is that you sit in your pose and you don't force anything, you breathe, right? And when you breathe, you're shifting your nervous system into a relaxed state, so then your brain, your brain senses the signals that you are relaxed, you're breathing in a way where, the breath directly influences the nervous system, right? So if I start breathing slow and I'm stressed, my body will respond with, my brain will respond with going into rest and digest, which is going into the nervous system state that is relaxed, right? So then,
Yeah.
using that state, that nervous system state, using your breath, you slowly ease into the pose, and that works, first of all, more efficiently, because if you get injured, you have to back off for months before you can do it again. Not
Yeah.
only that, but you're working with a calm mind, a calm breath, and you're just staying and allowing. And I think that's so incredible. And also, like, when you're staying and breathing, you're no longer thinking about yourself in the pose. Oh, I can't do a split. Am I crazy? What am I doing? I can't do this. Oh, this feels so tight. Oh, this feels so horrible. Like, all these thoughts that we're constantly thinking, you can't be thinking them if you're focused on your breath, right? So you're just staying and you're allowing, and then you're surprised by what comes up. And this, to me, ties back to non-attachment. I'm not attached to lifting 50 kilos at the gym. I'm not attached to being flat in my split. I'm just staying, being present, allowing, and seeing what's going to happen. But I am putting in the work also. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when you're saying it and I'm thinking, it all comes back to the point, which is a balance between ease and effort. So it's not
Yes.
like trying to break my record and lift like 100 kilos like that, but it's also not like, oh, I'm just gonna sit on the floor and just like
And
close
do
my eyes,
nothing.
probably
Yes,
go sleep.
exactly.
So
Literally, exactly that. Yes, effort and ease
I
and
think
everything.
it's
Even, yeah.
this exact word, the balance between ease and effort. It's everything. I really, yeah, like
Yeah, it is everything, and it's also, some days you wake up and you feel like every day everything is constantly changing, every second we're changing, every second we're every day we wake up different, our bodies are different, our minds are different, we're always fluctuating, and yoga is about also honoring the natural fluctuations of yourself, of your thoughts, of your body, so you're always working in harmony rather than working like that, rather than going against it, saying very rigidly, like, we're not computers, we're not robots, we're not machines, like, this has to
yeah,
happen every day. It's just staying, allowing, and breathing.
that's amazing. So another last thing that I want to touch on, and it's
Yeah.
not really related, but I know that many people have this dream of like, the dream of living in the city that the world revolves around, in New York
Yeah.
City, right? So how does it feel to have like spent, I think, how many, 6 years, I guess, or
So I basically used to study fashion here for 2 years, and I moved away, and then I came back here for 3 years now. So overall, I guess I would say 5 years, but officially moved here 3 years ago. And like, I'm one of those people that you're describing, who's just like infatuated with New York, and the infatuation doesn't get old. Like, it's some people live somewhere and then they kind of, like, I lived in Paris and I was kind of like, yeah, it's really nice, but then eventually I was like, okay, but it's not my home. Like, I want to go home. I don't feel like I belong here.
yeah,
And and I don't feel that way here at all. Like, here I feel like I just love it. Like, I really, really love it. I love the yoga
that's amazing.
community. Everything about being here is just so, like, I'm grateful every day when I walk in the streets of New York. I just feel so happy and so grateful.
That's really nice to hear. Okay, so I have like three kind of on the spot questions. They may be
Okay.
four. I'm not sure I've counted them right. So
Yeah.
so it's like you can answer with like short answers. You can say if you want to dig deeper on a point, I would absolutely love to. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yes.
the first one is the first one is how did the transformation, how can you describe in like a few adjectives or a couple of words the transformation of being someone who has nothing to do with yoga to being a yoga teacher?
I would say that I'm grateful that yoga found me at the right time.
That's a that's a point to meditate on a little bit.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
because
really,
sometimes we think,
because
oh, it's too late, or no, it finds you at the right time, or you find
so
it
like
it
it's
finds
having
you.
faith, I guess. It's having faith that everything will fall into pieces, even though if you don't really understand, like you don't see the whole puzzle, you still
Yeah,
have
and that it happened at
that
the
it's
right
all
time. You didn't miss anything, and you're not missing like this whole, fear of missing out and like fear of not catching up. Like you're exactly where you need to be right here, right now.
that's amazing. Another one is what would you say to someone who is hesitant about starting yoga? Like it's always, when you want to start something and you're like, it's gonna be so much fun, but like when it actually comes to putting in the work, they're kind of,
Yeah,
hesitant. They're,
I,
nah, I start
I,
next Tuesday, and next Tuesday comes,
yeah.
and boom, it's like,
Yeah, I was like that with so many
like
other
few.
things other than yoga. But I think with yoga, the thing is to encourage yourself by staying curious. Like see what you like about yoga and dig deeper. Do the things that you enjoy. Some people, for example, will say, "Oh, if this is hard, you have to work on it more." But like you and I have been saying, like effort and ease. Enjoy your practice. Let it be fun. Don't let it be like a punishment. Like sometimes we go to the gym, and like for me at least, when I used to go to the gym alone, I would feel just so like I'm just there to it's a
Like
mission.
like it's a must. It's not really
Yeah,
like you don't want to. It's more
exactly.
of,
But like
uh,
yoga is like being a child again. It's fun. Like you're let it be fun. Don't have any guilt. Like just get on your mat, enjoy. You're learning about your body. You're getting a break from you're doing something for yourself. You're breathing, all of that stuff is a benefit, but don't focus on the benefits. Just let it be fun. Let it be enjoyable.
that's amazing. That one I'm gonna like watching, and also from the minute 40 to 42, I
Oh
need
yeah.
to
Okay.
I need to
Yes.
listen to this one again. It's amazing. It's curiosity because often you just like start something and then you back off. But if you're always curious, then you'll just not back off because there's always much more to do and much more
Yeah,
to learn.
and
I
always
think
knowing that when you start something at the beginning, that's the hardest part of starting anything, right? And I think that it's like when you're starting something, think of when you first learn to drive, for example. Your brain is overthinking everything. Do I do this first? Wait, do I step this way? You're gonna feel very lost, and that's humbling, right? It does make you realize that you completely don't know anything about whatever it is that you're starting, right? And you feel it's quite humbling. Like you can't be, you can't be fully there feeling like, oh, I'm great at this, because your ego will be taken down a notch or two because you don't know what you're doing. And that, I think, just enjoying that you're a beginner, be patient with yourself, just enjoy it. And yeah, knowing that this part is always the hardest part, starting something. Stick with it. If you like it, stick
that's
with it, and then yeah, it'll get easier from there.
okay, so the last one, which is one that I find to be probably one of the most important, which is what's the biggest lesson you've learned in your entire life? Yoga related, is like could be spiritual, it could be like productivity related, like overall, if you're gonna like if you're like 19, you're giving your granddaughter the advice that's gonna help
Oh
her
my god.
lead a fulfilling life, what would you say?
No pressure at all. Okay,
No,
I
it
actually
hasn't to be something exotic. Just like maybe something that you like
yeah,
touches.
something
Your
you live
core.
by, like okay,
Yeah,
everything that you seek and aspire to be is already within you.
everything you seek and aspire to be is already within you.
Yes.
Can you illustrate, like in what context? Like, can you illustrate
Like
a little?
every context really. So we're wired to seek everything outwardly. We're always seeking, like, I need to buy this house so I'm going to be happier. I need to buy this car and I'm going to be happier. I need
Uh,
to achieve this level in my job to be happier. I need to marry this woman to be happier. It's always like I need these milestones, right, that we set for ourselves, and then I'll be happy. I have to lose weight and then I'll be happy. I have to, like, all of these. but actually everything that you desire and everything that you want is within you. Like there's no need to seek outside. It's all inside of you. All the beauty, all the wisdom, all the everything is all inside.
That's really like amazing. Like I'm thinking about it, and that's really true. Like if you ever
And
like your happiness somewhere else, it will always be somewhere else. Like even if you
you
got
know,
the house,
it's an endless
it's
chase,
gonna be
right?
in
We're
the
always
Porsche.
chasing. Yeah, we're always
Yeah,
going to be chasing, and it's never going to, but realizing that actually I don't need any of these things. My happiness is, my source of happiness is myself, and it's within me. And that's something I really want to teach. You know, I want to teach my baby, my son, as he grows up, that all of these things don't make us, all these external things don't make us happy. We're happy because of ourselves. Like that happiness is within ourselves. And also another thing I would like to teach him is to be grateful, because I think that also ties back to all of that, that you're grateful whether you have everything in the world that you want, or whether you're in the process of making your dreams come true, or whether you're just, you know, whatever, like you're grateful with what you have, because there's
I
always
think
something to be
I
grateful
think
for.
I heard it from a monk before that
The
gratitude
gratitude.
is the mother of all qualities, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
it
I
really
think
is, and
it's
it can shift everything that you like. You can like, for example, I remember it changed my life so many times. Like I was feeling kind of stuck in Abu Dhabi, and we wanted to move, and moving was very moving is usually a very tiring process, and it's not always like this easy thing that unfolds. And I was feeling kind of like, how are we going to make this happen? Like we don't have jobs there, like what are we going to do? And I remember doing a meditation at the time, and randomly the meditation said, I want you to think of three things that you're grateful for in your city and your home. So I remember my mind first thinking, I don't like this home, I don't like this city. This city sucks. I'm not happy. Like all these things, and then I started to think
uh,
about things that I actually liked in the city and things I liked in my home at the time, and I remember it completely shifted. I was suddenly like seeing it with new eyes, and I was very happy to be there after that long like meditation of going through the things I liked about it. And then now when I even look back at it, I look back at those things that I liked about it. And I think by shifting into gratitude, you're able to actually change and create the change that you want. But if you're sitting there focusing on the things you don't like, on the lack, nothing really happens, nothing really changes, nothing shifts energetically,
I
I
think
think.
that's amazing. I think these last 5 minutes could be one of the most important in the history of this podcast. Uh,
Thank you.
thank you very much for joining. It's probably like if you guys don't know, she like Mina is moving. She has a baby and everything's hectic, but she was generous enough to be on this.
No, you were amazing
Um,
with accommodating my schedule. Thank you so much. You were
no, no
so
worries at all.
lovely.
No, no worries at all. No worries at all. Make sure you follow Amina on Instagram. Is that where you people like if someone is listening and they want to follow you, is Instagram right?
Yes, Instagram is where I do everything. I don't have any
Okay,
other
great.
platform.
So
Instagram and
okay,
Facebook, I guess, but I'm yeah, it's Instagram basically.
okay, so it's at AMINAHTAHA at Amina.
Yes.
Please make sure you follow her, and we'll
Thank
see you guys
you.
in the next episode.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're very most welcome.
Bye.
Bye.